Welcome to another Shaw podcast. In this podcast, we're going to be discussing customer service in social housing and whether the digital offering from housing associations is up to standard. As always, I'm joined by Shaw Consulting Director Chris Shaw. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Steve.
So, Chris, we started this conversation a few weeks ago when you questioned whether the digital customer self-service being offered by many housing associations was up to meeting the wants and needs of tenants. Just start by explaining what you mean by digital self-service and why you think it's not, by and large, delivering in social housing.
Yeah, Steve. So digital self-service is, in essence, being able to perform simple tasks online, like updating information an organization holds on you, your name, your contact numbers, email addresses, etc., all the way through to those more complicated tasks, like completing online applications for something, paying for your rent, booking repairs, all things like that. And to be fair, many housing providers have got a level of self-service for their customers that allows them to do this. However, 90% of the time, these organizations are asking their customers to log into a portal, to find the information, to change that information and perform that transaction. And that can be quite time-consuming barrier for many people. And when you look at the latest digital divide survey by the Good Things Foundation, they're still producing a number of stats and indicators that's showing that there's still not enough being done for certain groups of people across that digital divide. Some of the stats are like 21% of people are not online because they still think it's too complicated. And I think that's what we're finding when we're looking at these customer portal solutions. 20% of people are saying that it's still too expensive to be online. Now, if you have to be logged into a portal and it's taking you a long time to do things and somebody's on a pay-as-you-go device or access to the internet, yeah, it can be expensive. So really understanding how long it's going to take a customer to transact with you and making it as simple as possible reduces that cost for them. A couple of other stats, 16% of 18 to 25-year-olds don't have a laptop or a desktop PC. They are very much using smartphones. So they don't really render that very well on devices. And then finally, the 11% of people are still worried about online security. So applies to the device that they're being viewed on. It's still not very user-friendly in gaining access to these portals, and they're not truly designed for smartphones.
So you seem to be saying that customer self-service isn't really delivering to its full potential. So what does good digital customer self-service look like?
All customers, whether you're in social housing, whether you're just going online and buying goods and services, you want a seamless digital engagement with the organization that you're looking to do business with, and using the device of choice, which for the majority of people across the UK, that's a smartphone. And again, if we look at some recent data from a company called Statista, we've now got just close to 80% of the population in the UK have a smartphone. But then if you look at then how customer services and online digital services are provided across the housing sector, very few of them have developed an app that can be pushed down to a smartphone and enables the customer to transact in a way that would be far more seamless, more secure for them, and really would create a better experience for them.
Yeah, so that's quite surprising, isn't it? The sector seems quite a long way off the ideal kind of approach. Why do you think that's the case?
Some of it comes down to the system suppliers being too narrow in their focus. And what I mean by that is that they're only really offering a portal for the area of functionality that their system provides. And you can understand that. But when you think about where we're at today, where you've got a number of housing system providers that have consolidated their offer and cover all areas like housing, repairs, customer service, asset management, they're still only offering at this point in time, and some do have some in development, have an app in development, but they're still only offering a customer portal solution. So I think there has been some constraints by the providers of the off-the-shelf housing solutions. And, because housing providers have needed to provide a self-service solution for their customers, they've gone down the line of going with some third-party organizations to develop their customer portal, but they're only ever as good as the integration that they can get with those back-end systems. And if those back-end systems are not exposing the information that they need to be able to provide that transactional service through the portal, they still are limiting the experience and the level of self-service that that customer can perform. I think the other thing is that where a portal, it is very much a relationship where you put information on the portal and then you expect the customer to then log in, find what they need to do and transact in that way. So it is very much a pull relationship, a pull interaction. They may get some notifications via email, but they'll get lost in the ether of all the other emails, so they're easily missed. Whereas, when you've got apps on your smartphone, you'll see those pop-ups come up or those alerts, and it's a call to action. It's very much more of a push relationship. And that's what you get. That's what I feel is needed in the sector. Therefore, we're delivering a digital service to the device that the majority of residents and customers are using. And it's an interaction that is a call for those members and customers to do something.
What do you see as the basics that a digital self-service should be doing for tenants if it's to be a success? What kind of things should they be able to do as a minimum in these platforms?
I don't think this has really changed over the years that people have been providing self-service solutions, but the basics really are, a customer wants to be able to log in, check that their information is up to date, update it if it isn't. They want to check the rent balance, pay the rent. The biggest interaction that customers have with housing providers is logging a repair, tracking a repair. There's lots of calls that come into the customer services centre saying when somebody turning up. So, providing that tracking of operatives, like we see with our parcels, where they are, how far they're away, a level of self-service around those repairs. If you need to reschedule or cancel a repair, being able to do that online and even receive a notification if the repair's been rescheduled by the central team in the housing provider. There's lots of applications that customers do. We still see a lot of these on paper or even on the device that the housing officers have, where they go out and then visit the customer and then log in and complete these forms themselves, and in Word in many cases and not in the system. So there's benefits for the customers in having good online, intelligent and dynamic forms, but there's also benefits for the housing officers that have to then go out and visit customers who maybe still don't have the access to the devices that they need to have access to transact digitally. I think the other things are around people want to know whether they're eligible to have pets in their homes, whether they can do certain things to their homes, to make changes to their homes. Again, this is all making requests to the organisation. And where you've got systems that are integrated and we understand where the customer is, where are they living, we should be able to have the system to be able to hold that information and give that answer immediately to say, I'm sorry, you can't keep a pet because you're on the 20th floor of a flat, for instance, or this building doesn't allow pets, for instance. The organisations have got the data, but they're not joining it up well enough to deliver that fantastic digital experience. And lastly, I think there's choice-based letting systems, which tend to be separate, or it's a different login to be able to look at houses for rent or make your bid for a property. But many housing providers also build and sell homes. So that ability to look at the properties, book viewings, register interests, all of these things will deliver a far better digital service to customers and residents.
That's been really interesting. Thanks very much. As usual, plenty of food for thought there. So any organisation wanting support can contact Chris via the Shaw Consulting website or search for Chris and make a connection on LinkedIn. Thanks so much for listening today, and watch out for more podcasts heading your way soon.